Hello. How is everyone today? Make sure this is still working. Yes, cool. I think we're going to finish Rod's route today. Most likely getting the bad ending, but I'm hoping we're not killing in the like we did with Karma. And then I think we're going to do we want to go straight into getting the good ending for Rod, or do we want to move on to a new game? I think we're playing let me look. We are playing The Hidden Room next, which I think is a horror game. Let me... The Hidden Room. Did I accidentally delete this game? I can't... Hello? Thank you, God. I can't seem to find it. It says it's in my library. I don't know where it is, though. It's apparently a escape room puzzle game. So do we want to do that for Halloween week? Or do we want to just do probably the good ending of Rod's route? Those are your two options, I think. And it matters if we do The Hidden Room and it's a short game, we might play something else for Halloween night. But if we do that, I'm not entirely sure what we're playing. So... yeah, I don't know where it is on my library, but I might make a poll on Twitter and Google, or not Google, It is up on Twitter. Let me quickly put it up on YouTube. Okay. There. You can now go vote or put it in chat and I'll count it all up. Sorry if you can hear kids screaming. I think one of the neighbors does at-home daycare. And they let the kids play outside around this time now. Which is kind of weird because it's getting really chilly. Whatever. Not my kids, I guess. But anyway, let us jump into the game. There we go. Oh, turn the music on. I think I finally fixed the audio issue. So the music should still be playing slightly in the background and doesn't jump as badly. I think I could even change it a little more, but... Or you know what? Here, we'll just raise the music a little bit. Is that better? It's not... That looks better. Okay, there. It is the day of the ball, and I am waiting for Emily to finish her last dance rehearsal. The lesson was over an hour ago, but Emily remains here to continue practicing the steps. Meanwhile, I am preoccupied with thoughts of Rod's curse. I cannot believe that Rod traded his voice for a title, so the reason the king was able to find Ophelia was because of Rod, which is kind of insane, considering they were sweethearts before everything happened. It is a little difficult to wrap my head around the implication, but one thing bothers me. Rod told me why he has the curse, but he gave no explanation as to how to break it. How did it go in the original fairy tale? Emily finishes up the last steps of her routine before walking over to me. I hand her the glass of water I was holding for her. How long were you holding this glass of water? For at least an hour. That water's gonna be warm now. Thank you, Lucetta. Emily must notice my curiosity because she stops to look at me questioningly. Is something the matter? I read a little bit of that fairy tale but never finished it. Can you tell me the whole story of the Little Mermaid? The Little Mermaid. Emily takes a seat on one of the chairs bordering the throne room and gestures for me to take the one opposite her. Telling a fairy tale is always a good way to wind down. Once upon a time, there was a mermaid that fell in love with a handsome prince. One day, when she was swimming to the surface of the ocean to find him, she saw the prince was celebrating his birthday on the grandest ship in the kingdom. The little mermaid was captivated by the human party and stayed to watch. Then suddenly a violent storm hit and the prince was thrown from the ship into the ocean. The little mermaid saved the prince and took him safely to shore, but she could not stay long. She eventually had to return to the ocean and leave him on land. This is similar to Vairika's rescue. The little mermaid was so in love with the prince that she went to see a witch who offered to trade her a potion that would turn the mermaid's tail into legs. They struck a deal. The mermaid would sacrifice her beautiful voice for legs so that she could live with the prince on land. So in Rod's case, he traded away his voice to become a prince. However, the sea witch gave the little mermaid a warning and said that if she wasn't able to make the prince fall in love with her, there would be consequences. Consequences? Yes, namely, if the prince fell in love and married someone else, the mermaid's heart would break and she would dissolve into sea foam. I cannot help but recoil. My expression must betray my horror because Emily quickly shakes her head. There's no need to be worried. Rod had said that his curse is different from the fairy tale, and you believe him? Emily shrugs helplessly as she puts down her now empty glass of water. The fairy tale curse always twists the original fairy tale, right? Besides, it's not as if Rod traded his voice for legs, and I'd never heard of a cursed person that dies because they cannot break their curse. That may be true, but Emily doesn't know what Rod traded his voice for. She does not know that he did it because it did it to become a prince for Vairika. Rod is already hiding things from her. Is it possible that Rod will die the day Vairika marries Desmond? Later that day, I find Rod in the dining hall. He appears to be inspecting the seating arrangements for the night's banquet. He glances up briefly to look at me before returning his attention to the place cards with the guests' names on them. What is it? I've been looking for you all morning. I am distracted from what I am about to say when I notice Rod switching the position of two place cards. I frown as I catch the name on one of them. He's moving Vairika's place at the table. Is he trying to make sure she sits as far away from him as possible? Surely you have better things to do than stay in here. What happens if you cannot break your curse? Rod's movements stutter before he shakes his head sharply. This is something you do not need to know. Let's get angry at him. Because that's what we've been doing the whole time. Rod's coldness grates at me and I find myself snapping at him. What is wrong with you? Excuse me? All I'm doing is trying to help you break your curse, but you are acting as if I'm trying to help you What? All I am doing is trying to help you break your curse, but you are acting as if my trying to help you will only make things worse. That was a sentence, okay. No, I am only insisting that I do not need your help. We are partners, Rod. I know that doesn't seem to mean much to you, but it means something to me. I intentionally soften my tone when I realize that I've been shouting at him. You should let me help you. What for? Just because you somehow managed to get 2 good deeds on your own doesn't mean you can help me at all, Lucetta. Frustration courses through me as I clench my hands into fists. Why must he be so stubborn? Is he so certain that I will not be able to help him at all? Emily told me the story of the Little Mermaid. She said that the mermaid dies if the prince marries someone else. Rod, when Vyrika marries Decamon, will you... My voice trails off when I hear the sound of the door behind us. Is it Ophelia or the king? It's probably Vyrika if I had to guess. Rod rushes forward and grabs me before I can glance back at the door. Ow. I become aware of a weight holding me down to the floor. The impact of the ground against my head blurs my vision, making it impossible for me to see what is happening at first. Am I underneath the dining table? I struggle to try and sit up, but the weight pushes down on me again, forcing me to be still. Quiet? Rod? Why did he push me under the table? I'm about to ask him aloud when the sound of footsteps silence me. I cannot help but remember what Sir Mythos was saying about rumors. If Rod and I were seen alone together by the servants, the rumors will no doubt get worse. But why is Rod doing this? I stay quiet as the people that enter the dining hall begin to talk. How strange for this place to be empty at this time of day. There is a pause, then another voice speaks up. You better have good news for me, Mythos. Sir Alacaster and Sir Mythos? Rod's hands tighten on my shoulders. Everything is as you requested, Sir Alacaster. There should be no issues. There better not be. You've disappointed me before, Mythos. I would be careful not to try my patience again. Yes, Sir Alacaster. Sir Mythos sounds oddly subservient. But why? The two of them are both ranked equally, and neither of them should have to answer to anyone other than the king. Unless Sir Alacaster truly is the witch and is forcing Sir Mythos to obey him with a spell. Wait a few minutes after I leave. We should not be seen together. I do not hear Sir Mythos's response, but I hear Sir Alacaster leaving the room. Sir Mythos sighs out, but is otherwise silent when he leaves the room after a few moments. I exhale fully as the door finally closes behind Sir Mythos. This is bad. I was so engrossed in Sir Alacaster and Sir Mythos' conversation that I only just realized that Rod is hovering over me. Hey, are you alright? Are you hurt? You look a little... Rod suddenly pauses as he notices their position. He stares at me for a few moments, eyes wide. I mean... What were they expecting? They're under the table. Tables aren't that tall. Definitely not for two, mostly grown, people. He scrambles out from underneath the dining table, and by the time I do the same, he is standing far away from me, his gaze fixed on the wall. He is bright red. It would be funny if I wasn't sure I was the same color. Rod clears his throat. It seems that Sir Alacaster really is the witch if he has the ability to make Sir Mythos obey him. Lady Parfait should be told immediately. Rod turns on his heel to leave the dining room. Rod, wait. What? This is urgent, Princess. I can't just... When Vyrika marries Decamon, will you die? Rod pauses for a moment, but I can tell from his pained expression that he will not speak. You're running out of time, Rod. My eyes flit. Flit? Sure. Between Sabby and Rod. What does that mean? Nothing. He turns away from me once again and starts walking away. Running away solves nothing, Rod. You're one to talk. Tell me about... Telling you about my curse won't change anything. The outcome will always be the same. Leave it alone, Lucetta. It's for the best. I cannot help but get mad at Rod's dismissive tone. I move towards him, frowning. How can you say something like that? You are not the only person that will be affected if you keep refusing to do anything to break your curse. Can you imagine what your death would do to your sister, to your mother? Losing you would destroy them. Rod's face is suddenly inches away from mine. He places his hands on the wall behind me, caging me in. Why does everyone keep doing this to me? His face is flushed with anger, but the look in his eyes is tormented. My family has been dealing with the consequences of my actions for the majority of my life. How long have you been cursed? I thought it was only recent. But I guess, you hope that Vyrika has been dating Decamon for a few years. But considering the time period we're in, I doubt that. Unless Rod's much younger than I thought he was. I thought he was at least 15 or 16. Don't think that I don't know what effect my curse has on the people closest to me. Besides, I don't want to involve you in this too. His voice is a whisper, but I can still hear his words. Rod pushes away from me and stalks off as I stare after him. He says that, but then he still does nothing to try and break his curse. I do not understand him at all. What is stopping him? Rod is absent from the palace for the rest of the day and returns only once the sun has set to prepare for the ball. I have not been able to talk to him since, but I assume that he has been to the merchant to tell Delora and Parfait about our suspicions of Sir Alacaster being a witch. I hope they come up with an effective plan for dealing with him. The palace is not safe so long as he is here. The ball is about to start that evening, and I have been asked to make sure none of the guests are lost and wandering the hallways. I've been walking around for a while, directing any late guests in the right direction. That should be everyone. But as I turn the corner, I notice two people lingering by a column. Excuse me, the throne room is... I pause when I look more closely at the two men in front of me. I recognize one of them instantly. What is Sir Alacaster doing outside the throne room, and who is that man with him? Ah, Lucetta. Sir Alacaster gestures me towards him, and I approach wearily. This is Varg. He is one of the guests of the ball. Varg sweeps aside his cape as he bows, and I curtsy and dip my head to hide my expression. I have not heard of a Varg, and why would he be bowing to a mere maid? Also, why is he wearing such an elaborate costume and mask? This is not a masquerade ball. If Varg is an acquaintance of Sir Alacaster, there is no telling what or who he truly is. Varg is one of the suitors for Princess Emily. Would you please escort him to the throne room? I will be along shortly. Varg's politeness is even more suspicious. Of course, Sir Alacaster. I meet Varg's gaze briefly, and cannot help but frown at the way he is smirking at me. This way. Varg and I make our way towards the throne room, and I cannot help but feel weary of the fact that he is following behind me, where I cannot see him. If the maids are this lovely, the princess must be truly beautiful. Varg laughs, and I grit my teeth at the sound. What? It was meant as a compliment. There's no need to look at me like that. Varg looks at me curiously. Are maids not allowed to speak in this palace? No, in this place? I have nothing to say. Not the most cheerful person on staff, are you? Thankfully, the doors to the throne room appear as soon as we turn a corner, and I do not have to come up with a response to his words. We are here. I gesture towards the throne room and move to leave, but Varg's voice stops me. You should, at the very least, escort me inside and introduce me to the princess, don't you think? No, that's not a maid's job. Isn't that what a maid should do? Technically, that is the announcer's job. But Varg came so late he probably already missed the introductions. And that's his fault. That's not mine. I wouldn't want to think badly of any of the servants of the palace. I take a deep breath to calm myself before turning towards the doors. Follow me. I can tell the moment I step into the room that the official introductions have already passed. Most of the guests have already begun to mingle and scatter across the throne room as the band sets up. No one notices when I walk into the throne room in front of Varg. I do not trust Varg, not if he is associated with Sir Alacaster. I might have time to warn someone about him while he is distracted, but who? Obviously we're going to warn Rod. Emily can't help us right now when she's the center of attention. My eyes fall on Rod. I notice that he is leaning against one of the walls away from the crowd. I head directly for him, moving quickly so that Varg is not right behind me. Rod frowns at me as I come to stand in front of him. What? There's a man here called Varg. I think Sir Alacaster brought him. Sir Alacaster. Apparently, Varg is one of the suitors for Emily's hand. Rod glances past me at Varg, his eyes narrowed. Is that him? Is that Varg? When I turn back and follow his line of sight, I almost gasp in shock. Varg is bent over one of Emily's hands, clearly having just passed a kiss to the back of it. Wow, he's quick. Was able to get up to Emily before we could even announce him too. You should have kept him away from Em, but Rod and I are not too far away so we can hear him clearly, but the throne room is already hushed at the sight of the crown princess being so boldly directly addressed. May I have the first dance, Your Highness? I feel sick but cannot bring myself to say anything more as Emily puts her hand in Varg's. I accept, Lord Varg. The moment Emily makes her way to the center of the dance floor, a man signals to the band and the magicians start playing. This feels wrong. I can only nod as I watch Varg pull Emily closer. At first, it's just him and Emily dancing, but then other couples gradually trickle in to join them. I do not like this at all. Rod and I watch in silence as the first dance continues on. I know for a fact that Rod must see the dreaming smile on Emily's face as certainly as I can. Are we gonna dance to get closer to them? When the music stops, both of us move as one towards Emily. Even though the dance is over and Varg has released her, they still stand close together in the center of the room. The silence is interrupted when the double doors open and Sir Alacaster, along with two knights, stalk into the center of the room where Emily and Varg stand. Their arrival causes an uneasy stir in the crowd. The king rises from his throne, eyebrows drawn. Alacaster, is there some kind of disturbance? Alacaster says nothing as the knights stationed around the room approach Emily and Varg and stand around them, encircling them. Emily's expression shifts from confusion to fear. The crowd becomes even more anxious. Alacaster, explain this. Alacaster briefly glances at him but says nothing. He turns back to his knights and snaps his fingers. The knights pull out their sword and point them at Emily. I reach out to grab Rod's hand before he can make his way towards her. Rod, this is too dangerous. I know, but thoughtless actions have the potential to put Emily in even more danger. Hopefully we're not killing Emily accidentally. Rod's only response is to tighten his grip on my hand. I place my other hand over his to reassure him, and slowly but surely his grip begins to loosen. I turn my gaze back to the king. Alacaster, stop this immediately. What do you think you're doing? Something I should have done a long time ago. I've been nothing but loyal to this kingdom, and all I have ever wanted was for Angelia to thrive. But ever since the queen died, this kingdom had become weak. It is because you were a weak ruler, Gennaro. What? The people were more productive back then, more disciplined during the late queen's reign. The kingdom has become less productive without fear to drive them. When there is power, there is order. Power is not something that should be needlessly used to control people. It is used to protect them. You, of all people, should know that. Sir Alacaster shakes his head. I, of all people, know that order is what makes a hierarchy stronger. I am only doing what is necessary. I am reorganizing the system. Hand over the crown, Gennaro. Sir Alacaster turns his head to Varg, who remains standing beside a scare Emily. You will obey me if you do not want your precious daughter harmed. Please leave my daughter out of this. Emily steps back, her eyes now brimming with tears. Varg sees the princess. As soon as Sir Alacaster gives the order, Rod immediately let go of my hand and rushes towards his sister. Rod, no! I quickly follow after him, but Rod suddenly stops in his tracks. You just came in the room. This cat sometimes, I swear. But Rod suddenly stops in his tracks. I bump abruptly into his back. Rod? Varg. Sir Alacaster's booming voice echoes around the room, which has suddenly gone eerily quiet. My eyes move to Varg, who is standing motionless. What is happening? Finally, Varg smirks. He steps to the side, standing in front of Emily as if to block her from view. Sir Varg? You must be delusional, old man. I am not letting you anywhere near the princess. What is going on? The knights' next movements are a blur as they rush at Sir Alacaster. In mere moments, he has been disarmed and pinned to the ground. Several more knights have also appeared from behind to surround Sir Alacaster. A man emerges from in between the circle of knights. He moves to stand beside Varg and Emily. Sir Mythos looks at Sir Alacaster disdainfully. What is the meaning of this, Mythos? We had a deal. The anger is now palpable in Sir Alacaster's flushed face. Did we now? Mythos, explain yourself. Sir Mythos drops to one knee in front of the king. Of course, your majesty. He raises his head slightly to look at the king. I've known for a long while that the man you see before you is a traitor. I was even aware of his plans, but I cannot tell you any of them without any evidence. 2 of your knights had tried to inform you of these plans before, but we all looked down on them with disdain. I had to make sure that I did not come unprepared like they did. Durin and Garland? What? Both of them knew of Sir Alacaster's plans? Was that the reason they were dishonorably discharged? for false accusations? I knew enough of his plan that I could thwart it. That is why I thought the best way to reveal his dastardly ways was to craft a fake alliance with him. Sir Varg and I have been working together to unravel Alacaster's plans, Your Majesty. Varg is an invaluable accomplice. Wait, so Sir Mythos has been pretending to work with Sir Alacaster this whole time? And so we arrived at the events of tonight. I apologize for undertaking this task without seeking your counsel, Your Majesty, but I can think of no better way to end this madness once and for all. You lying snake. Sir Mythos stands and turns to Alacaster. He gestures at him dismissively. Sees him. The knight's next movements are a blur. The man rushes Sir Alacaster all at once, and in mere moments Sir Alacaster has been disarmed and is now pinned to the ground. Isn't Sir Alacaster a witch? Why isn't he using magic? Mythos, I am indebted to you for saving us. This whole kingdom is. I only did what was necessary, Your Majesty. The king glances at the knights, then at Sir Alacaster, his gaze sternly. Take him away. Sir Alacaster struggles uselessly against the knights as they drag him away. He is nearly at the door when he starts screaming at the king. Gennaro, you are a fool. That man is a witch, a snake. You cannot trust him. No, Alacaster, I was wrong to put my trust in you. Even as Sir Alacaster is pulled from the room, we can hear him babbling in the hallways about a witch. Sir Alacaster never used any magic to escape. Was he truly not a witch? Are you all right, princess? I was pulled from my thoughts when I hear Varg's voice. He is now trying to comfort a shaken Emily. For a few moments he looks away, and his eyes meet mine. He smiles, but it is fleeting, and moments later his attention is back on Emily. You know, Varg kinda looks like Sir Mythos. I wonder if they're related. Even though Fritz and Alacaster are related, they don't look anything alike. The ball comes to an abrupt end after Alacaster's stunt. He is thrown into a jail cell and promised a trial after a few days' time where he will be tried for treason against the kingdom. I still can't believe Sir Alacaster would do something like that, and so brazenly too. I wonder what happened to Sir Fitzgerald. They said he vanished completely last night. Do you think he is working with his father? The truth is, I have no idea what to think. I had thought that I had everything figured out, but now I've become more and more confused by the moment. Fritz was always loyal to a fault, but then Sir Alacaster was the same with the king, and I have not seen him nor heard of Fritz for weeks. I cannot really say. Good morning, Princess Emily. Why are you still at the palace? Sir Varg. Varg was offered a room at the palace for a few days' visit. He is being treated as Sir Mythos's valued guest. I've heard from the other servants that he is Sir Mythos's relative who lives in the neighboring kingdom. I guessed right. Isn't that great? I hope that you're feeling well now, princess. Yes, thank you for your help last night. Is Emily blushing? I know I won't be here long, but I do hope to get to know you better during the duration of my stay. I would love that. Then I am looking forward to spending more time with you. Oh, I forgot that I am meant to be in my mother's room right now. Lucetta, Sir Varg, I will see you both later. I curtsy as Emily walks off, leaving me alone with Varg. I cannot help but feel uneasy in his presence. Something about him puts me on edge. He makes me feel uncomfortable. Excuse me, I have errands to attend to. Wait. Before you head out, I have something to give you. Give me. Varg reaches into one of his pockets and withdraws a letter that he hands out to me. Thanks. What is this about? Well, I guess you'll have to open it to find out, princess. My blood turns to ice in my veins. He knows I am the princess. That could only mean that he is. I have no idea what you're talking about. Excuse me. I am about to leave when Varg suddenly grabs my wrist. The play is about to start, princess. You have a responsibility as the main character to perform impeccably until the very end. Isn't that ominous? Otherwise, well, he grins at me and is the same wolfish smile that he flashed at me during the ball. You might miss out on your fairy tale ending. What? Before I can say anything else, I feel a hand grip my other arm. Someone tugs me back away from Varg, then comes to stand in front of me. Stay away from her. Rod. Varg looks at Rod, then at me. His smile grows more crooked. What an interesting turn of events. I wonder how this will end for the both of you. Tell me, Lucetta, what is he to you? Obviously, he's a friend. A friend, you say? Is that what he really is? Yes. Oh, the disgruntled look on Prince Rod's face says otherwise. I wonder why. If you don't cease talking right this instant, I will have the knights escort you out. Of course, I apologize for my rude behavior, Your Highness. You seem to know a lot about us. Are you I lower my voice. Are you a witch? You're asking the wrong person, princess. He knows who you really are. I think you two are worrying too much about me. After all, I'm just a pawn in this game. Varg dips into an elegant bow and flashes one last smile before walking away. I want to know more about Varg. Like, so far, he's been like a weird... Don't yell at me. He's been a weird character so far in both these routes. I hope we learn more about him as we go through the other routes. Are you all right? I am. Thank you for helping me. You know, I'd do anything for you. What? What? Rod shakes his head before stepping away. Anything for me? Rod coughs, pulling me from my thoughts. It is possible that he is a witch or that he is working with other witches, but we have no evidence to prove it. Until we figure out what is going on, you need to be wary of him. I know. Rod smiles at me gently. The look makes my heart thud once painfully in my chest. Stop staring at me like that. Rod looks away, his cheeks tinged red. I feel my own cheeks warm at the sight. I wasn't staring at all. Both of you are hopeless. Shut up, Sabby. Rod gives me one last look before finally turning and walking away. I place my hand over my chest, where I can still hear my thudding heartbeat, this feeling. If this is what I think it is, then I have no right to feel that way about him. He is my stepbrother. I shake my head to clear the thought, then glance down at the letter that Varg just delivered to me. There's only one sentence written on it. Come to the throne room alone tonight. That's asking for trouble. The wedding? Oh no. before we keep going, give me a little bit. Okay. This cat sometimes. He's not eating what I'm giving him, and he's being a pain about it. Whatever. Okay. The throne room is empty when I arrive. I can only hope that this is not some sort of trap. Soon after I enter, the door squeaks open and a familiar face enters the room. Sir Mythos? Sir Mythos walks towards me. When he is close enough, he drops to one knee and bows. I frown as I take a step back from him. My princess, do not be alarmed. I know of your true identity. Sir Methos flashes me a wide smile that causes a shudder to run down my spine. You know who I am, and then that means you're a... I take another step back as the blood drains from my face. Ugh. Sir Mythos' smile only widens at my reaction. I'll say it for you. Yes, I am a witch. Why are you smirking at me now? If you are a witch, then Sir Helicaster is a mere human, a fool one. And Varg? Nothing but my personal errand boy. A thought suddenly occurs to me. If Sir Helicaster was plotting against the kingdom, then did Sir Mythos also punish Fritz somehow? What about Fritz? Was he part of Sir Helicaster's plan? Ah, the knight. To avoid confusing you, let us just say that the situation surrounding him is too complicated to adequately explain. I command you to answer my question, Sir Mythos. Was Fritz part of this? If it makes you feel better, he refused to be part of this. He refused? Does that mean he was not part of the plan, or that he was unwillingly forced to participate in them? I am certain that Sir Helicaster would not be happy that his own son was disobeying him. He either forced him to help or assigned him outside of the palace, but if Fritz knew of Sir Helicaster's plans, why did he not warn anyone about them? Was he working with Sir Mythos as well? More questions swirl in my head, but none of them have answers. When this is over, I will personally ask Fritz about this, once I can locate him. I shake the thought away and bring my attention back to Sir Mythos. Why bother with this reveal? What do you hope to gain from it before we start our conversation? Oh, so the magic is colored based on them. Oh, that's cool. Sir Mythos waves his hand, conjuring a faint green glow that envelops the whole room. Just in case someone decides to eavesdrop, I wouldn't want any of your witch friends listening in on us. Yes, I am aware that one of them had been snooping around the palace these past few months. Their snooping had made it more difficult to move around without exposing myself. Sir Mythos clicks his tongue in annoyance. Such a nuisance. He's referring to Delora. She and Parfait warned me before there was a witch in the palace. Is Sir Mythos truly that witch? I never really trusted him, not even when I was a princess. Not that... Now that he has revealed himself as a witch, I need to know what he plans on doing. I know that I was the princess You knew that I was the princess this entire time, yet you never offered me any assistance. If I had, Helicaster would have targeted you as well. What? Helicaster wanted to dispose of the royal family. If he had known you were the princess, he would have been after you too. It would have been easier with no one remembering you as the princess. But unfortunately, Fritz told his father about you, thinking that Helicaster might be able to help and protect you, and it didn't help that Varg confirmed it. Your mother wouldn't have been happy with me if I put you in harm's way. That is why I had to pretend not to know you in order to protect you. Sir Mythos is silent for a few moments before he speaks again. Revealing myself to be a witch was necessary. I had to make myself appear useful to Helicaster somehow, after all. Then, of course, I learned of his foolish plan to steal the crown and decided to thwart them. Though not before I stole something from Helicaster first. I played him like the fool that he was. I told him I would aid him with my magic so long as he gave me the knight's protection. Using magic is almost impossible in this place, so having the knights to back me up was crucial. The knights? What does he need the knights' protection for? What were his plans? Sir Mythos starts pacing the room, his expression still calm. I found out that his plan to dispose of me after he obtained what he needed, so I disposed of him first. Alacaster might have been able to convince most of the knights to aid him by promising them promotions, but, well, my magic's far more convincing. Sir Mythos stops in front of me, his deadpan expression transforms into a smile. For now, let us deceit. Speaking of my plans, the minute Alacaster plans were thwarted, I knew I had to contact you directly. I am happy to see you in the palace, Your Highness. Although, we really need to get you out of those clothes soon. A maid's clothes does not befit a princess like yourself. That does not matter. My priorities right now is to break my curse. Ah, of course. They must truly have been frightening to feel the need to curse you. I feel an uncomfortable tug in my heart to think that the Lucis bearer would actually allow a witch to curse you. Sir Mythos shakes his head, disgust written on his features. When you suddenly disappeared that day, it was as if all traces of your existence had vanished. I searched for you endlessly, princess. When you first appeared here in the palace, I did not recognize you immediately, but I felt a touch of magic in you and investigated. My curiosity is what prompted me to investigate you further. When I had tried hard enough, I found that I could see through the glamour that had been casted on you. So Sir Mythos truly was the witch Parfait was referring to when she mentioned someone seeing through the glamour. I imagined my surprise when I found out that it was actually you. That fairy bear has been nothing but a nuisance to us witches. First, she betrayed your mother, and then she betrayed you before she had even met you. But mother, she was the tenebrium bearer corrupted by darkness. Parfait only did what she had to. Sir Mythos looks at me, clearly surprised. What lies have these people been whispering in your ear? Everything the queen did, she did for us witches, to protect us from the wicked humans who destroyed our kind. It is clear to me where Sir Mythos' alliance lies. Sir Mythos sighs, runs a hand through his hair, and then continues speaking. On the 18th birthday, you will follow her footsteps. You will make this kingdom a place for all witches to prosper. I am nothing like her. I refuse to make people suffer to fuel the crystal. I never bore witness to the suffering the people had to go through during my mother's reign, but the stories are enough to reveal her true nature to me. It was hard to believe at first, but those people do not have any reason to lie to a servant like myself. They had nothing to gain for it. I finally understand why the hated people had for me run so deep even when I did nothing to them. It was because I was the witch's daughter. Your mother wouldn't be happy to hear that. Let me assure you that this is not a destiny you can run from, dear princess. I will not let destiny take control of my life. I am foreign tiredness by releasing a long yawn. I am sorry for cutting this short, Sir Mythos, but please excuse me. I am getting tired. I am about to walk past Sir Mythos when he starts speaking again, his voice a low whisper. I notice that you have gotten closer to the family you so despised before, the prince included. I narrow my eyes at him. You care about him, don't you? I must confess that this surprised me, princess. Such a relationship would certainly be a scandal. Even if you two are not blood related, he is still your stepbrother. Whatever will your dear father say about this? I clench my fists. He has no right to lecture me. I already know that these feelings are wrong. I know that I cannot have them. I assure you there is nothing between the both of us. Oh, is that so? Are those lies you utter just to convince yourself? This man is beginning to try my patience. Allow me to share a little secret with you, princess. I am not interested. I head for the door and reach for the knob. Oh, but I think this is something you would be most curious about. I do, after all, know the consequences of the prince failing to break his curse. I also happen to know that someone special to him is getting married tomorrow. My hand freezes. How do you know about all this? I know all of the happenings around this place. That is my job, princess. Now tell me, do you know how the ending of the fairy tale, The Little Mermaid? My blood runs cold when I remember what Emily told me about that fairy tale. If the prince falls in love and marries someone else, the little mermaid's heart would break and she would dissolve into sea foam. I conducted my own investigation and actually met the witch who bestowed the curse on the prince. In meeting her, I found out everything there is to know about it. I turned to regard Mythos with a frown. Ah, it seems I have finally gotten your attention. What do you plan on doing to Rod? Sir Mythos shrugs. To him? Nothing really. I was merely curious. I wanted to know what you saw in him. What do you know about his curse? It stays true to the fairy tale. Only in this case, the prince gives up his voice for a title. Still, it will end the same way. The girl will fall in love with someone else despite his sacrifice. You mean, on his beloved's wedding day, the prince will die. I had thought you might have reached the same conclusion. Tragic, don't you think? I had the same thought, but is Rod truly going to die? So the reason Rod gave up breaking his curse was because he knew that Vairika would never love him back. He knew that he was going to die the moment Vairika married. Dread begins to wash over me. Why not ask him yourself? As if orchestrated by magic, the double doors open and Rod steps inside. When he sees me, his expression relaxes. I've been looking all over for you. I wanted to speak to you about my discussion with Lady Parfait. I turn around to face Sir Mythos once again, but to my surprise, he's already gone. When did Sir Mythos leave? Lucetta, is something wrong? Was Sir Mythos really speaking the truth? Having a cat yell at me, and then he just disappears. Whatever. I think we want to, because we've already asked him before, and he blew us off, so we're confronting him this time. Is this how you really want things to end? What are you talking about? Have you ever thought about what your family would feel after they find out that you lied about your curse? Are you going to die when Vairika gets married tomorrow? You are going to die when Vairika gets married tomorrow, am I right? That is why you told me that there is nothing I can do to help you break your curse. Because there really is nothing you can do to help me. Vairika will never return my love. I have accepted my fate a long time ago. Lady Parfait was the one who insisted I find another way to break my curse. Because she refuses to give up on you, and I will not give up on you either. I've been aware of another way to break my curse from the beginning, but I would rather die than do what it is I need to do. Do what? Have you not read? Rod's voice trails off when he sees my confused expression. He clears his throat. Forget it. There's nothing more you can do. The reason I never told anyone the truth of my curse is because I never wanted anyone to blame themselves for not being able to help me. I was already a lost cause the moment Vyrika really fell in love with someone else. I could never take that happiness away from her. Rod becomes silent, his gaze downcast. The vulnerable expression catches me by surprise. You should have told me about your curse a long time ago. How many times must I repeat myself? Telling you about my curse wouldn't change the outcome. I could have tried to help you. Why are you so insistent on helping me? Because I care about you. My face warms up when the words escape my lips. Rod also flushes. What are you saying? That I am worried about you on Emily's behalf, of course. I do not want her to think I let you die. Rod lets out a deep sigh. Just stop talking. You are in no position to tell me what to do. Lucetta. There's a hint of warning in his voice. Now, you better let me help you or... My words are cut off when Rod presses his lips to mine. It is only a brief kiss, and when he pulls away, his usual somberness has returned. I told you to stop talking. I can only stare back at him, baffled. Rod, you do realize you just kissed the princess. Rod looks at Sabby, and then at me. His face colors once more. He takes a step back, his lips pressed together. I'm sorry. Without any other warning, Rod turns abruptly and stalks out of the room. Sabby falls from his shoulder and falls to the ground, but Rod does not notice in his hurry to leave. I stare at him in shock. I can't believe he just ran away. I walk to where Sabby is and kneeled down to pick him up. Are you all right? I'm fine, thank you, princess. Sabby tilts his head to the side. That Rod. I wonder when he will start acting like a man. Suddenly kissing a girl like that is so unromantic. I think about the warmth of Rod's lips pressed against mine and flesh again. Rod may not say much, but he has a lot going on in his head. Thoughts he doesn't ever want anyone to know. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I know he really cares about you, princess. He's just a little standoffish and has a difficult time showing his emotion. He's sensitive like that. Take it from me, I'm always in his head. I care about him too, but what will become of my feelings once I break my curse? I will return to being his stepsister when all this is over. No, this is not the time to mull over such thoughts. I'm sorry for asking this of you, princess, but can you return me to Rod? That boy is useless without me. The exasperation in Sabby's voice makes me smile. Sabby acts like Rod's older sibling, of course. When Rod does not open the door, I knock again. Rod's eyes widen as soon as he sees me. His face flushes a dark crimson. I am here to return Sabby. Rod nods before slowly taking Sabby from my hands. Thank you. Be careful not to drop me again next time. There's a hint of a smile on Rod's face as he taps Sabby's face. Sorry. He looks so much more at ease when he smiles. Rod faces me again with an apologetic expression. Lucetta, I really am sorry for what I did earlier. I mean, it's kind of both our faults, so I apologize as well. It was my fault for talking too much. Now you should stop insisting on helping me. I refuse. Rod says, you really are stubborn. That makes the both of us. The hovering silence becomes more pronounced as we both stop talking. That's what silence means, thank you. You said you wanted to talk to me about something you discussed with Lady Parfait? Yes. I meant to tell you that Delora will be here tomorrow to investigate. Now that we know Sir Alcester is not the witch, we have to start our investigation over. Actually, about that, I know who the witch is. You do? It's Sir Mythos. He is the real witch. Sir Mythos. So when Sir Alcester was throwing around accusations last night, they were true. Sir Mythos is also already aware that the Delora had been investigating the palace. We need to warn her. Then I will send Lady Parfait a quick message. We need to keep up our guard around him too, especially you. I'm sure he already knows that you're the crown princess. I nod in response. For now, we should wait for Delora to show up tomorrow. But it's getting late. You should go and get some rest. The moment he says the words, I realize he is correct. My eyelids are heavy. You're right. I think I shall take my leave. Good night, Lucetta. Good night, Rod. The moment after Rod closes the door, I hear a faint voice whispering in my ear. Ah, I see. I jump back in surprise and stare at him with wide eyes. Sir Mythos is leaning casually against one of the podiums. What? Sir Mythos is leaning against one of the pedestals? Oh, sure. So that is where the prince disappears to every now and then. I had no reason to care before, but now I see it. If my guess is correct, he is also in league with the Lucis Bearer. When I do not answer, Sir Mythos smiles and shrugs. Well, it doesn't matter. I glance around and notice the green shield from earlier. Once again, no one will hear this conversation. Now that the prince has confirmed your doubts, what will your next course of action be? You want to help him break his curse, yes? Rod may have given up on breaking his curse, but I refuse to do nothing. From the way Sir Mythos is taunting me, he must know of some other way to break the curse. Rod will not be happy about this, but I need to use whatever means necessary to save him. Do you know how to break his curse, Sir Mythos? I will assume that you have not read the full fairy tale if you do not know. Yes, princess, I know. Tell me. Sir Mythos cocks an eyebrow and waves a finger at me. Do you not realize by now how witches work, princess? I propose a deal. I will help you, but you must help me with something in return. Help you. If you are planning on betraying the king, I have no plans of taking the crown, or harming any of the members of the royal family. What? Then what is it that you want from me? I prefer keeping you in suspense. I do enjoy surprises. You will find out the day after tomorrow. That is your 18th birthday. Wow, we're really pushing it this time. But you also shouldn't trust anyone who's not gonna give you their deal. Like, it's one thing like, help me when I ask later on, or you owe me. But to have someone be like, you have to do something for me to give you the answer, but not tell you what you have to do, don't ever trust that. Be like, nah. It's not worth it, because it's always something way worse for you. I look at him perplexed. Why does this have to be on my birthday? Don't worry, Your Highness. What I request from you will also make for a pleasant gift. What do you say? I bite my lower lip as I consider. I was worried about Sir Mythos' request, but I no longer have time. Vyreka's marriage is tomorrow, and Sir Mythos has the upper hand. I understand. Good. Now remember, dear Lucetta, witches are bound to their oaths. In order for the prince to regain his voice in life, something must be taken by force, just like in the fairy tale. What does he mean by that? Tell me what I must do. Oh, did I forget to mention this? Oh, I did forget to mention this, but it is not you who must act, but the prince. What? If Rod could help himself, he could have done so. Please trust me, princess. You will have my aid, and I will make sure the prince's curse is broken. This is gonna end so badly. I know we're getting the bad ending. And I think it's gonna be worse than Karma's bad ending at this point. Like, yes, we killed Karma, but at least it was a swift death, I guess. That's all I can say, but this seems pretty bad. Today is Vairika's wedding day, and also the day Rod is destined to die. Sir Mythos explained his plans briefly last night. He further explained that it was something he would need to use after the wedding. I tried to question him further, but he disappeared before I could, saying that he needed to start his preparation. I do not completely trust him, but I am running out of time and have no choice right now. The royal family has left the palace to attend Vairika's wedding. It is unusual for the king to attend another noble's wedding, but Vairika is an exception given she is one of Rod's and Emily's best friends. Despite Sir Mythos's reassurance, I am still restless. Sir Mythos told me that everything would be alright, that Rod would not instantly die the moment Vairika got married. But why must his involvement be reserved for a time after the wedding? Why does he not act now? Someone looks like they're in a bad mood. Delora suddenly stands before me smirking. Her appearance shocks me so badly I nearly drop the dishes in my hands. What impeccable timing. We've heard from the prince about Mythos. No wonder I was iffy about that man. I should have realized he was the witch. Do you know him? Yes, I do. Delora walks closer and places both of her hands on my shoulders. Listen to me, princess. I am warning you. Stay away from Mythos. Do you understand? That man is a sly devil. He cannot be trusted. I take a deep breath to still my rapidly beating heart. I hope I will not regret asking for his help. Princess, I need you to promise me that you will stay away from Mythos. Yes, of course. Good. For the time being, I will assume my investigation. If I'm lucky, I'll find out what Mythos hopes to accomplish. Actually, he's not in the palace right now. He went with the royal family to attend a wedding. A wedding? Huh. How unusual. I can only assume he must be there at the wedding to help Rod. Well then, better make use of his absence while I can. I'll see you later, princess. When I am left to my own thoughts, my mind returns to the issue of Rod's curse. Sir Mythos mentioned a similarity with the fairy tale, which means I may have a chance of finding out more. I decide to go to the library when I have the time to pick up the book. I am now on my way back to my quarters with the book in hand when I see Rod walking towards me from the other side. His eyes are fixed on the floor, so he does not notice me as I approach. Rod? He is still alive. Does that mean Sir Mythos had succeeded? Oh, it's just you. Rod's voice still comes from Sabby. The realization instills a deep fear inside of me. He is still cursed. How much time does he have left? Much to my surprise, Rod actually smiles at me. The smile is forced, however, and does not reach his eyes. He looks crestfallen. Why would we ask how was the wedding? Are you alright? I'm fine. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. But I'm tired, Lucetta. So, for tonight, I just want to rest. Good night. Without waiting for my answer, Rod begins to walk away. A strange heaviness hangs in my chest. Why do I feel like this is the last time I will see him? I glance down at the book in my hands, then slowly open to the last page of the Little Mermaid fairy tale. I start reading from the section where the mermaid's sister explains how to get her fins back. Take this knife. Before the sun rises, you must plunge it into the heart of the prince, and you will be a mermaid once again. The book falls from my hands and collapses to the floor. I stare at it, dumbfounded. Wait, that means Rod needs to kill Vairika? Then the item that Sir Methos mentioned earlier, could it be the knife? I need to find him. I turn and start running in the direction of Rod's room in hopes that I will be able to catch Sir Methos there. When I come to the end of the hallway, however, it's not Sir Methos who is standing by Rod's door. Emily? Emily is slowly walking in the direction of the throne room. Her movements seem oddly mechanical. Oh no. Is Rod gonna kill Emily? I rush towards her. Princess Emily, where are you going? Must go to Rod. Why is she going to the throne room? Rod is back in his room. My eyes catch on something shining in Emily's hand. My heart nearly stops when I see that it is a knife. Emily, what are you? If he kills his beloved with this knife, his curse will be broken and he won't die. It is as if she is in a trance. Is this Sir Methos' doing? Is she under one of his spells? Emily, snap out of it. Emily starts walking again, ignoring me. When I try to approach her again, trying to steal away the knife, a shadow suddenly comes to stand between us. Varg looms in front of me, smirking. Where did you come from? Let me through, Varg. No can do, princess. Don't you want to save the prince? I look at Emily, who has not even turned to glance at us. I glare at Varg, who is still standing in my way, grinning. Step aside, Varg. Ah, feisty, you are far more interesting princess than your stepsister. I try to sidestep, but Varg follows my motions. I try again and again, but he just watches my progress. He holds his hands up in the air, eyebrows raised. Tell me, what would you do if I did let you go? Would you stop him from killing the girl? Rod would never kill her. He would never do anything to harm the person he loves. He refuses to do it, and he has no reason to do it now. Varg is silent for a few moments as he considers. Interesting. He steps aside and bows. Go ahead then. You are letting me go? I would like to see this play end as it may, without any strings attached. Wait, are we getting a good ending? When I push open the door, I find Rod kneeling down. Emily lies on the floor in front of him, unconscious. Emily! She's fine. She's just asleep. Something glints in Rod's hand. Even from this distance, I know that it's the same knife Emily was holding earlier. Out of the corner of my eye, I see someone slouched against one of the pillars. Vairika? I rush to her side, then sigh in relief when I see the gentle rise and fall of her chest. She is still alive. How did she get here? It was Sir Methos' plan. I remember walking back to my room after talking with you. I blacked out, and when I came to, I was already in here with Vairika. I've already checked on her. She seems to be under some kind of sleeping spell. M came in a few minutes ago, passed me the knife, and simply collapsed after begging me to kill Vairika. I think M is under a spell as well. Rod glances down at the knife in his hand, expression glassy. M almost convinced me. She pleaded that I'm not alone She pleaded that She pleaded that I not leave any of them behind. It's not as if I want to die and leave my family, but... He stares at the knife for a few moments, then curses as he slams his fist into the ground. I can't kill her. Why would Sir Mythos want me to do this? Guilt floods my chest, making it difficult to breathe. I was the one who asked Sir Mythos to help Rod. He said he knew how to break his curse, but I didn't realize that in order to break his curse he needed to kill the person he loved. I relied entirely on the story Emily told me, and that was my biggest mistake. I should have read the full fairy tale. I could never kill her. Such a shame. Sir Mythos emerges from the shadows, looking at us with disappointment. To break his curse, Prince Rod must kill his beloved with the knife his sister has brought him, just like in the fairy tale. Mythos turns to Rod. And here I thought that your sister might be able to change your mind. You were, after all, supposed to do this of your own accord. I was wrong. I shouldn't have underestimated your stubbornness. Casting a spell on you would have solved this problem entirely. Why are you doing this? Well, Sir Mythos is shifted his gaze to me. Rod follows his gaze to me and raises an eyebrow. There's no lying to him now. I asked Sir Mythos to help me break your curse. You what? I didn't know that you were meant to kill Vairika. Rod shakes his head, his face marred with disappointment. Anyone who tries to help me would inevitably make things harder for me, Lucetta. I just wanted to help you, Rod. I had already made up my mind. If you really wanted to help me, then please, respect my decision. Please. Shame. And here I thought I would be witnessing a dramatic final tonight. Sir Mythos starts to walk away. I am about to chase after him, but then I realize there's nothing else he can do. Rod has made his decision. I feel my heart plummet as I slowly nod at him. So, there is really no other way? I could never break my curse like this. Vairika was my first love, and my good friend. And besides that, my love for her faded a long time ago. She's been replaced. You've been my beloved for quite some time already, Lucetta. But it doesn't matter, does it? I will die soon. Rod, I feel a heavy weight in my chest as if some force is crushing my heart. I am sorry. I promised myself that I would save your life, but I failed. I blink back the tears that are brimming in my eyes. Rod stands, then moves over to stand before me. He places a hand on my cheek. You've done nothing wrong, Lucetta, so please, don't blame yourself. What did I expect to happen? Even if Rod had killed Vairika today, he would have carried that burden for the rest of his life. And all because I asked the witch to make him do something he did not want to do in the first place. Rod reaches for Sabby and places it in my hands. Once the clock strikes 12, I am going to disappear. It's a real shame that I'll be disappearing on your birthday. It would have been nice to celebrate this one with you. Promise you'll take care of my friends for me. There must be another way. You cannot go just yet. I'm sorry, Lucetta. I cannot even bring myself to consider what is happening. Panic engulfs my senses as I stare at Rod, who is becoming transparent. Rod, you are... If only I could be with you and everyone else just for a bit longer. Despite the fact his words waver, when Rod looks at me, his smile is bright and warm. My vision blurs as tears gather in my eyes. I like you, Lucetta. If we'd had more time together, I would have grown to truly love you. In the next instant, his body has dissolved into soft orbs of light. The light gathers in the air, then begins to begins to fade. I am so sorry. But we didn't learn what Sir Mythos wanted from us. It just ends after Harad dies. Well then. I actually kind of like that ending, that bad ending, more than Karma's. It actually had like impact versus Karma's was like, oh, we accidentally killed a creature that we thought was hunting us. Not like, oh, like, okay. That was a sad ending though. I really want to see the good ending now. Like, obviously we knew the good ending for Karma's was we don't kill him. But is the good ending gonna be like, we not take the knife, but like help Rod like stab our heart with it, and that will count as like our last good deed, and also break his curse at the same time, and somehow breaking the curse is going to like keep us alive, which is going to be a stupid thing, but it's something. Or I don't know how they could make a good ending with this. Because obviously the good ending's not going to be break up Vyrika and Decamon and make Rod marry Vyrika. Yeah, I don't know what they could do. Very interesting. But I think, like I said, it is up to you guys what we're playing next week. Are we going to work on the good ending for Rod, or are we playing the hidden room? Because personally, I really want to see how the good ending is for this. But it also is Halloween weekend. Do we want a spooky game for Halloween weekend? Halloween week. Do we want a spooky game or some cute love story between step-siblings? Let me know. But otherwise, I will see you all next week. Bye.